loves, welcome back to the channel. It is Deborah here with Stewart Well Budgeting. Here on this channel we do all things savings challenges, money management, debt payoff, cash stuffing, sinking funds, the whole 9 yards. If that's content that you're into, please go ahead and stick around for the remainder of this video. Let's go. Okay, so today we're going to be talking about something that I have definitely, hold on, let me get my smoothie out of your face. Something that I have definitely been thinking about for a while now, and I'm just outdoors. As those who watch my other channel, you know what's going on with my studio space right now, but I just wanted to come and just, chop it up with y'all for just a little bit. So, as you can see by the title, we're going to talk about a topic today that I have been asking myself, that I think that we all, if we are trying to get better with our finances, should ask ourselves, have already asked ourselves, will ask ourselves, the whole 9 yards. So that's the question of, am I living above my means? Now, I have my notes here, so if you see me veering off or like flipping a page, is because I have my notes here so that I don't get sidetracked, because your girl can ramble, okay, especially about this topic. So I wanted to come and I wanted to talk to you all because I have been having to ask myself that question, like, am I living above my means, right? Like, am I making wise decisions with my money? Is there something I should be doing differently, right? And let me just give this disclaimer here. I am not a financial advisor. I'm not Dave Ramsey Jr. out in these streets. I am just somebody who is struggling with my finances. I found the budgeting community, and it has been helping me as I'm stewarding my financial journey well. And I am, budgeting, managing my money so that I can be in a financially healthy and wealthy place, okay? So nothing that I'm saying should you treat as the Bible. Nothing that I'm saying should you say, it's a one-size-fits-all. I'm just stating things that I think that we all need to think about. It's been helpful for me to think about these things, and I think that you should as well. A lot of the information that I'm going to share, I've done some research on. I've looked into SoFi, and like other financial businesses, institutions, high yield savings accounts, all of those kinds of things for the information that I'm going to provide to you. So I'm not coming off the dome with this, okay? I did not create the wheel, neither am I trying to reinvent it, okay? So let's just, start. I had to put those disclaimers up there, but let's just kind of start by understanding what it actually means to live above your means, okay? To live above your means just simply means that you are spending more money than you are earning. You're spending more money than you are earning, right? And that makes you have to rely on your credit cards, on loans, on your savings account, right? So that your expenses can be covered. And this lifestyle is usually like unsustainable, because after a while, you're going to run out of savings. After a while, you won't be able to, you're going to max out your debt, and you're going to be in tons of debt. Like that lifestyle is unsustainable. So it's pretty much, you are spending more money than you are bringing in. That is living above your means. And when you look at that at face value, it's like, okay, if you're in a place where every month you're meeting your bills, every month you're meeting your wants, every month you're saving and putting money to the side, then you may feel like, oh, I'm good here. But I found myself even in recent months not putting as much money to the side for savings as I usually do. So I started having to go back and say, why is it that I'm getting a pay increase, but I'm having less money to go towards savings? We'll get to that in a little bit further into the video. So, okay, so that's what it means. That's what it is. And so you may be asking, okay, well, how do I know if I am living above my means? I got you. 1 second. Okay, so I just have a few things, and I think it's it's 6 things that let you know that you're living beyond your means. I'm not saying these are the only 6, but these are the 6 that I was able to find in my research and in doing my own self-personal examination, okay? 1, you are living paycheck to paycheck. Okay? If you are living paycheck to paycheck, that means that you have little to no money left after your bills are paid. And when I say bills, I'm referring to fixed expenses. And in those fixed expenses, if you have a monthly credit card bill, I'm adding that in there as well. That's how I do mine. So after your bills are paid, your fixed expenses are paid, you have little to no money left over. Like, your variable expenses are just like, I don't even know if I can match those. And for me, my variable expenses include groceries, gasoline, my personal spending money. Sorry, y'all, I'm out here with the books today. Okay. My personal spending, miscellaneous household giving, those are like the variable expenses that I have, because it's going to fluctuate how much money I give to each of those categories. But I do know that I at least want to put something towards it every pay if I can. So for me, it became... So if you realize that, out of those categories, you're barely making gas, you're barely making groceries, you're barely having any money left over to get household items, or let alone give and contribute to somebody else, then you very well may be living above your means, because after your bills are done, you have little money to spare, and you're just waiting for the next paycheck to come around. That's one way to tell that you are living above your means. Another way is that you are unable to save money. Here's the reality of the situation. I don't care who you are. Life happens to everybody. It just does. And unexpected situations come up all the time. And so we want to be able to have some kind of cushion there, so that if we end up having some kind of emergency or something like that, if we do end up having a fall in our finances, that we have something that we can fall back on, and there be some safety net there. We all need that financial safety net. And so if you are unable to save money, you cannot put money towards an emergency fund, you cannot put a portion of your income towards, whether it's investing. Some of us are not at the point of investing yet, and I understand that. Whether it's, putting money aside for future goals, that you have a vehicle, that oil change is going to come up, that tire rotations or new tires is going to come up, you may need a new battery, and you cannot put money aside to cover those expenses. You may very well be living above your means, right? Because you have no money left over to put towards things that are inevitable, things that are going to happen, and life is going to happen for all of us, okay? So even if you're like, I don't have a vehicle, you have to get around somehow. So whether that's public transportation, whether that's Uber, whether that's whatever, if you are not able to contribute to your finances, that's another sign that you may be contribute to your savings, that's another sign that you may be living above your means. Thirdly, you are overly reliant on debt. Overly reliant on debt, okay? That means that you are frequently using your credit cards, that you are constantly taking out loans to handle things. You are frequently borrowing from other people, and hence the term borrowing, because that means you have at least told them or intend to pay them back. So you're borrowing from other people. And then a lot of people may not realize this, but you're also overly reliant on debt if you are constantly overdrafting your account. Okay? Long time ago's days, when I first started working, I was working, and my bank at the time was M&T. And so I would get my check would come in, it would be maybe about $900. And I had gotten to the point where M&T was letting me overdraft a significant amount of money, okay? I had no protection on that joint whatsoever. Like, there was no protection. There was no stopping point or nothing. It was just, you swipe it. We're cool. We're just going to charge you an extra fee on top of it. And so I kept swiping. They kept charging me fees. I was in debt to the bank, and I was in debt to myself. Right? So I'm doing that. And so I remember this one time, I was about $600 overdrafted on my M&T account. So the next time that I got paid, that $900 check was already gobbled up. All I have left is like $3 something. I've always been a tither. So after I pay my tithe, I don't have nothing in my pocket. So now I'm back to overdrafting that same account, right? So it kind of became a cycle until I said, you know what? I cannot do this anymore. I took my money out, like I stopped letting it go to direct deposit, and I said, I'm going to pay on that as I can and put that money in there and deposit it that way, but I cannot let you keep snatching my check or I will never get out of debt. And we'll get into that cycle of debt in just a little bit. But if you are constantly borrowing from other people, hey, can I do this, that, and the third? If you are using your credit cards, maxing them out, if you are, constantly borrowing and getting loans, and you're constantly overdrafting your account, you are in a cycle of debt. And if you are overly reliant on debt, that's another way of knowing you're living beyond your means. Okay? And let me just pause here and say this. Hearing some of these things may be a bit challenging. It may be a little bit difficult to hear because it's kind of like, do we really want to hear our quote unquote failures? And I'm putting quote unquote failures because I don't think it's necessarily a failure. I think it's just, we just have to make better choices and decisions, right? So I'm not going to say that you may not like this video. You may have heard point number 3 and been like, I'm out of here. You may hear point number 6 and be like, no, I'm done with this video. Because sometimes putting a mirror in front of ourselves and having to confront ourselves and be held accountable for the decisions that we're making and the things that we're doing can be difficult. But I'm telling y'all, the moment that you own up to it, the moment that you say, you know what, it's time to crack down and make a change because I want to embrace my financial health and my financial wealth, is the time, the moment where you can set off on a path that will be most productive for you and you will see a change. I'm telling you. I just told y'all the struggle I had, right? Okay, so I'm not telling you nothing that I haven't had to live and understand and navigate myself, okay? So number 4, the 4th reason why how you can tell if you are living above your means is that you have high housing costs. What does that mean? I'm not saying if your rent or your mortgage is $3,000 that you're automatically living above your means. That's not what I mean. I mean that more than 28 to 30% of your monthly income is going towards your housing payments. Rent, mortgage, whatever it is. If 28 to 30% of your income, more than that, is going towards your rent alone, we're not talking about utilities. We're not talking about if you need internet or cable. We're not talking about, water bill and we're not talking about those. We're just talking about your rent or your mortgage. If that's more than 28 to 30% of your, monthly income, you may just be living above your means, okay? Now, I want to talk about this because recently I moved back in November, okay? Recently I moved. And I'm going to get into another point number 6. I think is just so important, and I can't wait to get and talk to you all about that one. But formerly, like when I was at my old address, my rent was $600 a month. That's what I'm kicking out, $600, okay? And of what I am bringing home after taxes, after tithe, after my deductions and all the things, it was 17%. That $600 was 17% of my monthly income. I have since moved, and now my rent is $1,000, okay? And let me say, when I was living at the old address, I wasn't making what I'm making now. I was making less than what I'm making now. So, yeah, the numbers are a little bit off only because I can't remember what I was making at the exact time. But if I was living where I used to live, making what I make now, it would be 17%, okay? Now, my rent is $1,000, and that is 28% of my income. So, this is where I had to come to grips with myself because the reality of the situation is I had no other choice but to move from where I was. The house was becoming unsafe, and my parents were up in age, and I live with my parents. The house was becoming unsafe, and living with my parents it was not conducive, right? We had to get out of that home. So we had no other choice but to move. And I thought to myself, well, $1,000 is what I know that I can handle monthly. I was not willing to go above $1,000 per month, okay? And that's just what I am giving. My parents also contribute their portion as well, okay? So let's think about this. Let's factor this. Let's talk about it for just a second. So I am exactly at 28%, okay? More than, and again, that's post-taxes and all of that kind of stuff. More than 28 to 30% means that you're living above your means, which means that I am just cutting it. I am just making the mark on that. So that lets me know that if I plan to move again, I have to go for a place that's at least $1,200 and less, right? Because I don't want to go above 30%, but I'm just at 28%. So the way that my mind works is I can push it to 29. It makes me feel like I can push it to 29% and it's going to be fine, right? So I don't know. That's kind of what my thinking is. But I'm saying all of this to say, you do your calculations on how much you're paying towards your living costs, your housing costs, just your rent, just your mortgage, and see where your percentage is for your monthly income. Is it 28%? Is it 30%? Is it 16%? Is it 5%? I don't know, right? But I'm curious of what others are. So if you're watching this video, put it in the comment section of how much just your rent alone is of your monthly income. Mine is 28% exactly. So I didn't feel too bad, but it definitely sent off some buzzers in my mind. Like, I have to make sure that I am not overdoing it. Okay. Continuing on. So that was number 4. Number 5 is that you are financially stressed. Honey. Honey. Because eggs still $32.17 a carton. Okay. I feel like for number 5, quite a few people can feel that way. You know, and when I say financially stressed, it means you feel stressed about your money or you're struggling to pay bills. Every decision you have to make is stressful, right? Okay, well, I want to take my kids to the movies, but if I take them, I won't be able to cover gas for the week, right? Or I'll be short on the grocery money, right? Just throwing these potential scenarios out there, right? Every single thing. Oh my gosh, if I pay the light bill, I'm going to be short on the rent this month, or so I'm going to go ahead and pay the rent and just let the light, like, you are stressed financially. And if we could just take a moment real quick, if you are feeling stressed financially, I just want you to take a deep breath in and let it go. One more time. Just take a deep breath in and let it go. I understand it may be a lot. I understand that you may feel like nobody understands the struggle that you are in, but I do want you to understand you can overcome this path. You can overcome this situation, okay? It's going to require some discipline, some changes in life, but it is possible. It will not and does not have to be this way always, okay? So we're going to continue to take it one step at a time, and we're going to breathe through it, and we're going to navigate this financial journey together, okay? All right. So financially stressed. And then number 6, last but not least, y'all, this is the one right here that got me. It got me, y'all. It got me. I'm going to tell you the one that got me. Whew. Lifestyle inflation. Ooh. Y'all, this is the one that got me. And you know what this means? This means, and this right here is how I really had to have a come to Jesus moment, like, Deborah, chill. Like, really chill out. Your spending increases with every raise or influx of money rather than being put towards savings. I'm ashamed. Yikes. Why did that just read me so badly? That just read me for filth. It just read me for filth. Lifestyle inflation. This is how you know that you are living above your means. Every time you get a raise, every time you get a lump sum of money, you know how we do during tax time. Let's be real. For those of us who may get a refund check from school, we know how we get down. Let's be real. Okay? Anytime we get an influx of money or we get a raise, we increase our expenses. And I had to sit with that because it's the truth of my life. Like, every time I get a raise, it seems like I'm getting something that costs me more money. And so I am learning how to navigate shutting that down. So, with that being said, I will have a refund check coming from the school that I attend this semester. Y'all, I'm a senior. I'm almost out of there. At least for my bachelor's. I am going to go for my master's. I'm not quite out of the woods. I don't want to call it the woods, but I'm going to take a break though. But I'm almost out of there for my bachelor's. I'm excited about that. Okay. I'm about to get a refund check back from my school. Okay. I am going to bring that refund check here and I'm going to budget it with you. Now listen, here's what I want y'all to understand, okay? I do have some things that I have to take care of regarding my business. I do want to put some money aside for some new tires, right? There was one other thing that I needed to take care of. Oh, it might be my phone. I think I took a picture of the list. Hold on. Oh yeah, so my business matters and my new tires, right? Other ones was going to go towards other things, but I want to bring that refund check here with you all. I'm estimating a little over $2,800, and so I'm going to bring $2,800 here with you all, and we're going to map that out together so that I can have an accountability partner, because I'm letting you know right now, every single time that I get a refund check, that I get my income tax check, whatever, I always say I'm going to do this, that, and the third, but I never have an accountability partner. It's always up here. Nobody else ever knows about my plans. And because nobody else ever knows about my plans, I do what I want to do, and I don't stick to them. So I'm going to bring that here with you all, and I'm going to be held as an accountability partner, because when I get that influx of money, it needs to go towards saving. Majority of it needs to go towards saving. So I plan to do that, okay? So yeah, that's how I was like, okay, I'm living above my means, because every single time I got a raise or some kind of influx of money, I increased my spending. And the reality of the situation is, a lot of us do that. When we get our tax refunds, do we sit down and do we budget them? For a lot of people, they have to catch up on bills that they were behind on. I get that. But what do you put to the side? Right? That seafood boil honestly can wait. It can wait. Like, going on that vacation actually can wait until you are in a financially sound place, right? You only live life once. I get that. Tomorrow is promised to no one. I get that. However, that does not mean that you should not have a plan for tomorrow. That does not mean that you let tomorrow happen to you and you don't, prepare for what may happen on tomorrow, right? So all I'm saying is, when money comes in, when raises happen, you don't have to increase your expenses. You don't need that subscription. You don't need that. You do not need to move to a bigger place right now. You don't need that. Stack that money up. Stay there. Sometimes you got to remain in uncomfortable places until you can be secured enough to move. Now, like I said, we had to get up out of there where we was living at. I couldn't stay there no more. I was through. Okay, so that is what is living above your means, how to tell that you're living above your means. And I want to know, have you found yourself, could you find yourself in any of those categories? I know I found myself in a couple of them, right, that I just explained to y'all. Moving on. Why is it a problem? Give me 1 second. I got to change my battery. Okay. So why is living above your means a problem? Now, I think that we all could answer that, right? I think that we all kind of have I think we kind of all have an understanding of why it's not beneficial to live above your means. But just for the sake of it, let's chat about it. One, it's unsustainable. It is unsustainable, okay? It creates what I was talking about earlier. It creates a debt cycle. It's just a cycle of never-ending debt because you are always living paycheck to paycheck. You are always in a place where you don't have enough to cover your expenses, so you're borrowing from here, you're taking from that, you're using your credit, and it's putting you in a cycle of debt that, if you are not careful, may be extremely hard to recover from. Notice I didn't say impossible, because it is definitely possible to recover from it, but it would just be extremely hard to recover from, okay? Number two is that it creates a lack of financial stability. No cushion to handle the unexpected expenses, which means that you have been made more vulnerable to emergency situations. I'll give you an example. So I have had money in my savings account. A couple of months ago, my battery had gone up on my car, okay? I don't know what made me think that batteries lasted forever. Child, don't pay me enough mind. All I know is where the gas goes, okay? And sometimes I even forget to open the latch for that. I'm just saying. I'm just saying. So don't get me the line. So I needed to get a new battery. Now, thank God for my parents, because they're always ready to bail a sister out, but I never go to my parents for money. If I do, it's like, hey, I have this in cash. Can you cash at me so that I can have this digitally, and I give you the cash for it? That's what we do. So I had to get a new battery. It happened unexpectedly. One day I just went to start my car. My car was like, clink, clink. I'm not turning over. Like, girl, try again somewhere else, because you're not moving this car today. That's what my car said. Had the guy to come out. Jumped it, paid $95, because at the time we didn't have roadside assistance. We didn't know. Had the guy come out, paid $95 to him to come and pour my soda up on my battery in my car. Talking about something, it was corrosion. Okay, yeah, okay. So it works for about a day. I go to church, I come home. No, I go to church and I go to, where'd I go? Oh no, I came home and I had an event to do that Saturday. This is a different day. I had an event to do that Saturday. Go outside to start my car. It does not start. Ended up having to use my parents' car. So my dad tells me to go and get a battery. I pick up a battery, had to get the battery in the car. Long story short, I was able to, he was telling me, okay, do you want us to get the battery? And I felt so good to be able to say, no, I can cover the battery. I, at the time, didn't know how much the battery was or anything like that, but I was able to say, no, I'll cover it. That made me feel so good, because there was a time in my life, y'all, I already told y'all, I was $600 in debt with M&T Bank. It was overdrafted. It had gotten to the point where it was like decline. Like, it's not doing it anymore. Like, it's over. That's how bad it was. So it's a real thing that the fact that I was able to have the money to cover that unexpected expense made me feel really good. And it made me say, you know what? This is why I'm saving. This is why I'm putting money to the side. This is why I'm managing my money, because unexpected things in life happen. If I was not prepared, I would have had to call somebody. Hey, you got so-and-so amount of money to help me out? I'd had to borrow it from my parents. They wouldn't have made me pay it back, but I would have felt bad if I didn't. So like I would have had to borrow money from them, right? I would have had to put it on a credit card, but I could just go into my account and take care of that issue, right? So when you are living above your means, it strips you of that security. It strips you of that safety net, right? Because you're not able to save. And if an emergency comes up, every inconvenience, when you are living above your means and living paycheck to paycheck and you ain't got it like that, for real, every inconvenience is an emergency for you. Every single inconvenience is an emergency. This is not me judging. This is us having a real face-to-face conversation, because I had to have it with myself. I don't know, I already looked in the mirror. I'm telling you. And so because it was so helpful for me, I think it's only right that we come together and we have this straight up conversation. Like I have to really examine, am I playing myself? Am I crossing my own financial boundaries, y'all? I was crossing my own financial boundaries to the point where I used to kick out at least 2 savings challenge videos per month. I posted one, what was it, the other day, and the one that I posted before that was a month before that. I'm crossing my own financial boundaries if I'm not able to contribute to my savings like that, right? Because I know what goals I want to, and I have set up for myself. So this is a tough conversation, but it's necessary, y'all. It's so necessary. Okay, number 3, why is this a problem? Because it hinders your financial freedom. Let's talk about it, right? You can't invest into your future. You can't have financial independence if you always in debt, if you are always living above your means, if you are always living paycheck to paycheck, right? Okay, so hindered from financial freedom. And the reality of the situation is all of us want to get to a place where we can be financially free, where we can make decisions financially and not feel like we are chained down to anything or any moment, right? If we wake up one morning and say, hey, I want to go and spend this on a bottle of perfume. We want that luxury. We want that luxury of being able to say, if something were to happen in the house that I'm living in or the apartment that I'm living in right now, the landlord was janky or something happened, that I could up in tomorrow go and reestablish myself somewhere else. We always want that financial freedom. If my car conks out today, I'm able to, go and get another one, even if it's used, right? We all want that financial freedom. And so living above your means hinders that. So I done said all of that to say, you done brought the problem to us, right? We done talked about the issue, but what can we do to correct this? What can be done to make sure that I'm no longer living above my means? Let's talk about it. Can y'all come in a little bit closer? What can I do to correct this? Come here. Lean in a little bit closer. Let's talk. Because I'm going to tell you what your favorite social media influencer won't tell you. Stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. I said it. There, I said it. That's what I'm saying, okay? Number 1, first and foremost, stop trying to keep up with the Joneses. I'm going to tell you something that I had to do, and I'm not saying that I'm the blueprint. Trust me, I'm still learning and navigating. Do you understand? But when I realize something that helps me, I want to tell other people about it because maybe it can help them. I was once at a point where I was following all the celebrities, whether they were Christian, whether they were in gospel music, whether they were famous rappers, whether they were actors and actresses, no matter where they fell on the spectrum. If they had the manyan, if they had the moolah, if they had the money, if they had the currency, and they were walking around flaunting and they looked beautiful and they had the nice Christian Louboutins on and getting out of the Bentley GTs, and I was following their Instagrams. I used to be an Instagram girly, okay? Following them on Instagram. following their lives and all of that kind of stuff. And it started to, if I'm being honest with myself, it started to kind of make me look at my life like, dang, man, I wish I had that. Or dang, man, like, why they get to be so successful? Or dang, man, it looked like they living a fancy life and I'm over here struggling. Looking at their life highlighted my struggle to me. It put my struggle on full display. I noticed every crevice, every crease. I could not be content with where I was in my life because it wasn't measuring up to what I saw every day. So you know what I had to do? I don't know. I'm not telling you to do this. I'm telling you what I had to do. I had to unfollow every single one of them. There's a few that I still follow, like Viola Davis. That's my baby. I love her. I'm going to follow her. But I had to stop following these celebrities because, number one, you don't know what these celebrities had to do to get that money that they're making. That's number one. Number two, social media is fake. Social media is fake. They look nice. They got that Rolls Royce. They got that Bentley GT. But for all we know, they done rented a high class car for a high class event just for a weekend, and they got to take it back on Monday and drop the keys in the bucket. You understand what I'm saying? It's fake. It's not real. Yeah, it look like they're living in a high rise, but they done rented a penthouse for a week, and now we seeing them on a high. Do you understand what I'm saying? So I had to stop comparing. I had to stop looking at it so much because looking at their blessings highlighted my struggles in my own eyes. And I had to stop that. You know what I started doing? I started following average, everyday people. People who are, I don't want to say struggling because I don't follow people who are struggling, but I follow my peers. I got to look at where the bug going, honey. Make sure it don't come land on me. I had to start following my peers. I had to start following people who were average Joe Schmoes like me. They go to work their 9 to 5 just like I work my 9 to 5, right? Like, they're taking trips. They are still, dressing nicely. They're still taking care of their families, but They drive a Nissan Altima while I'm getting out of my Nissan Rogue. You understand what I'm saying? They drive a Hyundai. They drive a Subaru. They drive a Volkswagen. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I had to allow myself to be surrounded by people who lives a realistic life from what I know. Hear me out, because I'm not saying that they're not things that you can aspire to. I absolutely aspire to be in a Range Rover one day. I absolutely aspire to be in a mansion one day. But I cannot continue to digest that. I could not continue to digest that because it would make me feel bad about where I was instead of taking control of where I was. Hopefully that makes sense. So maybe you need to stop following all them social media people so you can stop feeling like you gotta dress like them. So you gotta go and get the latest and greatest of, okay. Can we be real with ourselves, y'all? Like I'm a real person. If you watch this channel at all, you know I'm a real person. I'm gonna keep it 100 with you every single time. I'm just gonna do that. But I had to get to that point where I was like, no. And I'm not the type of person that like to keep it with the Joneses. But after a while, when the Joneses keep flashing in your face, you kind of look at your stuff like, oh, this ain't, okay. I ain't got much of nothing. Let me hide what I got because I'm ashamed of what I got because the Joneses look like something. Absolutely not. Mitch, I'm saying all of this to say you do not have to keep up an image for anybody. When you look in the mirror, the only reflection you see looking back at you is yours. You understand? So don't you worry about what anybody else got going on, what their pockets look like, or nothing like that. You do not have to keep up with the Joneses. Okay, that's number one. Number two, let me get off my soapbox. Number two, track your spending. Track your spending. Track your spending. Okay? Because you have to identify the areas that you are overspending in. And when you identify the areas that you're overspending in, if you can afford to, cut back on them. Cut back on them. Okay? You don't have to eat out as much. People say all the time, it's more expensive to go to the grocery store than it is to eat out, but the food that you buy at the grocery store will last longer than the food you eat out. All I'm saying is they're charging $35 for something that you can eat in one setting. It's crazy out here in these streets. But if you go and spend that same $35 on something that you can make more than one meal out of, or make a meal that will last you, you're getting more for your money, okay? So track your spending over the next month and identify the areas that you are overspending in, okay? Because once you realize where you're overspending, you can see the area that you need to do better in, okay? Build your emergency fund $1 at a time. Hear me out. Hear me out. Just because somebody is able to put $175 per pay towards their emergency fund and all you can put is $2 does not mean that you shouldn't start your emergency fund, because every dollar adds up. Say it with me. Every dollar adds up. What? Every dollar adds. Say it. Hey, every dollar adds up. Okay? So save your emergency spending $1 at a time. Get you an unbreakable box, honey, piggy bank box, honey, because that's what I had to do. I had to make the access to get that money. I had to give it away, right? I had to put it in something that I can't readily access, okay? $1 at a time, because over time the dollars will add up and you will see the fruit of your labor. If you save $5 every pay, that's $5 more than you would have if you didn't save anything. You understand what I'm saying? Okay. I'm almost done, I promise. Next is budget your large lump sums, i.e. tax refunds, i.e. school refunds, whatever. Budget those out. When you know that you're getting money, don't just let it hit your account and then you start going to go spend. No. What does Kevin say? No. Was it Kevin Hart? No. I don't know why I'm thinking Kevin Hart or Mad TV. No. I don't know, one or two. But either way, don't just go and start spending the money, okay? Budget it out so that you know where that money is going, so that you can identify opportunities for savings. You can identify opportunities to address any outstanding balances that you may have. All I'm saying is, don't just get it and spend it. Get it and steward it. Huh? What's the name of this channel? Steward well budgeting. Okay. Don't just spend it. Steward it. Okay? Figure out where it needs to go to. How can you maximize the use of those funds? Okay? And last but not least, look for ways to increase your income. We already talked about cutting stuff back, okay? If you need to cut some things out of your spending, out of your budget, do that. But we also have to identify ways to increase our income, right? Like, if you realize that the income that you're bringing in is not enough to sustain you, then you might got to increase that. Like, look for side hustles, right? Legal ones. Okay, I'm just thinking. I got to promote that on my channel. Get you a side hustle, right? You got to do what you got to do. Sell things that you're not using. Put them on Facebook Marketplace, honey. People buy anything over there. You just have to become a freelance person, right? If you're a photographer, or if you're into writing, or if you're an artist, or whatever you have to do to increase your finances, you do that. And all of this will work if you really want to get to a place of financial health, wealth, and freedom. We're not all intended to be millionaires. Let's be realistic here. But we all don't have to be broke and penniless. Okay. So we have to do what we have to do and try our very, very best. Now the sun is beginning to shift and I feel like the lighting is starting to change. So I'm going to wrap the video up here. But I wanted to say there was this rule out there called the 50, 30, and 20 rule. 50% goes towards your needs and your expenses, 30% goes towards your wants, 20% goes towards savings and debt. So based on that rule, I'm not saying that that's what you should do, I'm just talking about what the rule is. Based on that rule, I did the calculations for my own life, okay? I do not live according to that 50, 30, 20 rule. I'm not sure what not Gordon Ramsay, honey, that's the food man. Dave Ramsey, I'm not sure what Dave Ramsey's numbers are. You can go look that up yourself. But mine, after getting all my numbers and doing my calculations, 70% goes towards my needs and my debt. 20% goes towards my wants and my variable expenses. 5% goes towards savings. So I'm going to try to get that 70% towards my needs and my debt down to at least 50 or 60. I'm going to keep my wants where it is. I'm pretty good with my variable expenses. I don't really want to add or take away from it right now. We'll see. But I definitely want to increase how much I am saving. And so that's all that I have for today's video. Oh, let me shift. Okay, so that's all that I have for today's video. I hope that I said something that encouraged you, that has helped you on this journey. Hopefully you are able to identify. I'm trying to make sure that the sun doesn't bother us. Okay. Hopefully you are able to identify some ways in here that maybe you feel like you may be living above your means, and you can alter and you can shift. If none of these things applies to you, and I'm not even kidding, that means you're doing a good job with managing your income versus your needs, wants, and savings. And I'm happy about that, and I pray that you would keep on that journey. If you find yourself in any of these categories, like I know I did a couple of them, then it just means that we have some work to do, and it's time to crack down. It's time to get disciplined so that we can reach the point of financial health and freedom. Thank you so much for watching today's video. You will have a wonderful day, and until next time. Oh, wait. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. All right. I love you all. You have a great day. Until next time, you all be well. God bless you.